What's up, guys? This is Andrew from Team Tryhard, and we are here with a first place deck profile from Bushro Team League Houston. We did it again, back-to-back championships, and let's just jump right into it. So I was on seat B, and I played Great Nature. I got this pretty sweet mat. For the starter, I played a Blackboard Parrot. So Blackboard Parrot's probably the best starter for this deck because it automatically gives you a draw, and it stays in Soul, and the deck has a pretty big problem with Soul. Telescope Rabbit is too counterblast heavy, so you decided to play that. For Leopold, this is the ideal grade 3 ride. It gives you a gift, and it sometimes gives you other cards, but a lot of the times you really just want it for the gift. It allows for excellent multi-attacking with garbage reach cards and tigers. 3 talented rhinos. This is our ideal attacker. If it's successful and attacks a Vanguard, it gets 4k power and it can't guard with grade 0s. This does a really excellent combo with Zoa that has an unblockable attack. But really, we just want to play one of these every single turn, and that's why we play 3, so we can afford to discard it for stride or damage check 1 and not be screwed out of them for the rest of the game. And then we play 2 Maze Professor Big Belly. So really the only relevant part of this card is that it has a restanding skill on a rear guard if he's successful. But he can also be good for a on-stride skill in a more grindy matchups. For the grade 2s, we play 4 Crown Tiger. This is the bread and butter. He's just a restander. If he's boosted, he is once per turn. So you don't have to proc the skill the first time you use him if you have multiples of them. And then I play 3 Artistic Ocelot. This card has a on attack, you give 4k to a card, and at the end of the turn it's retired. This is good on Vanguard and Rearguard, so you can call like a field of both of them and an ideal attacker, and then apply a lot of pressure going first. This deck is really excellent at rushing. That's kind of why I built it to do, because decks like Anj and Nubatama and some of the other decks have such good late games that you really have to apply a lot of pressure early game. And then in the same vein, we play a 3 Compass Lion. So this card is a 11k grade 2 that at the end of the turn you have to retire a card. This is mandatory, so if you only have itself on rear guard, you have to kill itself. But this card is so amazing. At my for the top 8 list for Atlanta this season, when we talked, I played 2 of these and 4 Ocelots. But Compass Line is absolutely amazing. I wanted to see it every time I went first or second. It just stops a ton of pressure. People consider you to be a G deck, so they really try to rush you. But this card just stops all of it. And this card's also better than Bicolor Baku, which is basically its G equivalent, because it always retires the card, not sometimes like Baku. And you always want to retire a card. It gets like Nubatama and Anj. You want to have perfect control over your board. You don't want to have to struggle for it. And then for grade 1s, 4 Stride Fodder. All of our grade 3s are really good, and we want to stride every turn. Also, this card can search for Big Belly, which is relevant if you need a restander. I play 4 Mike Saburo. This card's probably one of the best cards in the deck. On place, you give another rearguard a skill. Then when it's retired, you search your deck for a grade 3. So let's just play techie options for grade 3s and not be afraid of damage checking them. A lot of the times you just want to keep a hand with this card and a way to retire a card, and literally anything. You just call this as a 7k and another column as a booster, and you just rush them. A lot of times you end the first attacking turn with on a grade 2 at them at 2 or 3, which is just an excellent number. We play 3 Binoculars Tiger. So this card makes an unblockable attack with Zoa. It's a good booster and a good attacker. And sometimes it's just better than Rhino in some matchups, so you want to play 3 of it. 2 is few little, and I played 4 in Atlanta, but that was way too much. You never want to see that card enough. And until new support comes out, deck out is something you have to consider, so you can't use this card too aggressively. 2 Leopold Pangolin. So this card gives a skill to a rearguard that after its battle, you countercharge 1, soul charge 1, draw, countercharge 1 and soul charge 1 if its power is 20,000 or greater. This card really just outs tonally, and with Anj being prevalent, I wanted to make sure that I had every out to tonally possible. And I played this over Animal Clip Lesser because the countercharge is immediate, and the soul charge is also pretty relevant if you want to spam tigers a lot. And I play 1 Honoli. This is probably not correct, but I want to at least have it in the deck for matchups like Nubatama and Victor and other multi-attacking matchups, just because of how important it can be since you can call it out during the opponent's turn. And then for triggers, I play 8 V-Crit. I don't think fronts in the deck are very good. They do definitely scale well into late game, but crits can just win you a game on your first attacking turn. you don't really care about your other rearguards hitting in the deck. You just want your one rearguard to hit, and only that one rearguard can just get you the victory. 4 draw PGs. We don't play other PGs, and draws are really good defensively. And then 4 V heals. I don't play the counter charge heal because hitting a 5k defensive trigger is almost negligible, and hitting a 5k offensively is almost the same. So I'd rather trade power for the ability to counter charge. And since we do play the label pangolin, we aren't really that pressed for counter charging anyway. So pretty standard. We play gifts. Someone buy my Leon marker, please. And then for the G zone, we play 3 Balleral. So this card gives 4k, so plus 1 and flip anything that you have 4k to the G zone for every face-up card, and they all get on-hit draw once per turn. And then all the rearguards you choose are retired. So if you do want to be less aggressive, you can like call your boosters to the front row, Balleral skill, and then swap them back to the back row if you want to keep your cards alive. A lot of times this is just how you kill people. You don't really, I used to do this really aggressively on first stride, but considering like Anj and Nibatama are super relevant, I've been more going into the one-ofs more often, which I'll get into later. 2 Mana Armor. In both Atlanta and Houston, I went into this card 3 times, but it's good in specific situations. So it gives a skill to 2 rearguards that if their power is 20,000 or greater, they can't card with grade 1 or higher from hand. So with Rhino, it makes so they can't guard with anything from hand, besides like protect gifts or whatever. It's sort of relevant. You don't have many other things to play. 1 Leopold Chaser. If you have Leopold, this card searches for another copy of the card that you retire with its effect at the end of turn. I use this card in more grindy matchups like Ichitam or Anj or Nibatama, where you want to make sure, and the Geese, where you want to make sure that you get your restanding target. You don't want to risk it. 1 Vermthers, this is really here for Nibatama. It still allows you to draw a card, and it still allows you to get your power threshold good, so you're attacking for relevant numbers, but it doesn't risk your whole front row dying. 1 Fernrigus, this is for Geese. I went into this 0 times in Atlanta, but I did go into this in Houston, because I played against Geese twice, once in the finals and once in round 7. You kill your whole board for a counterblast and soul blast at the end of turn when this goes to G zone, and you draw a card, counter charge 1, soul charge 1 for each. This card does kind of risk decking you out, because all of the things are mandatory, and for every 1 card you retire, you do see 2 cards, but it's super excellent for refunding your cost. 1 Seabreeze, shout out to David and Noman for letting me use this. 1 Zoa, this is a win condition. You give the Zoa skill to a Rhino or a Monoculous Tiger, boost it with another Tiger, and they either they can only guard with grade 1 or higher and no sentinels, or they can't guard with anything from their hand. This card's just a win condition in the matchups where this card's good. And then for G guards, we play 2 of this turtle thing. It gets huge amounts of shield if you have an open board, and it draws you a card if you have a rearguard to target with it. 1 bird, you on place, you give a rearguard a skill that at the end of the turn you retire and you counter charge 1. So if they're trying to damage deny you, it's just a really good outlet, and it gets 5k shield. 1 Almirage, use Soul Blast 1. Call 2 rearguards from your hand, choose 4 rearguards, they all get resist and can't be retired if hit, so it saves your restanders if you need it, and in more grindy matchups you can call like a Honoli if you need to, or you can call, like I played against Gridora, and you can call the open column, and then 2 Spangled. This card is one of the most insane G-Guards in the game. I'll fight anyone on it. On place, Counterblast 1, flip any G-Guard, give a skill to all your grade 3 or less Guardians that when they're retired, you draw a card. And so if you have 1 of them, it's a break even for guard, but if you have 2, you plus 1 for every guard. So if you have just a lot of garbage in your hand, you can just call it and then draw for every card. A lot of times you can just grind out games and just get your combo pieces with this. Yep, and that's it for the deck. Shout out to TTH, shout out to Noman and David, my teammates, shout out to my car, shout out to Jacob for paying the tolls, shout out to Kyle for buying my Dantarian, shout out to Mark Andres, Kyle Warfield, Jonathan Owens, Solemn for saying Big Belly's bad, shout out to Nathan, and yeah, shout out to Cardfight for helping me test, and literally everybody here. Couldn't have done it without y'all.